Hello, everyone. And tonight on the CCA, we are so far in with our quad header tonight over on the CCA Twitch here. We're going to be bringing you guys Red Emberz once again here, is in the middle of their big run event here, and their opponents that are coming up to the batting plate is going to be California State University Long Beach Gold. My name is Neptune, and I'm not alone in this endeavor.
Yes, hello everyone, it is me yet again, Nikki. I was actually casting ISU's previous match against Night Sharks where they looked extremely dominant. We got 2 more matches out of them tonight. They're heading into their second one against Long Beach, as Neptune just said, and hopping into their keys to victory. I mean, Red Emberz, I imagine they have fairly similar ones from the last game, but just to take a look at some of the differences, they want to focus on Long Beach's Splatling player this time around, saying they are the only thing that outranges us. And then other than that, teamwork makes the dream work, focus on playing our roles correctly. And this is our second game of the night. We must keep our mental in check. Of course, when you're playing the game for multiple hours straight, one match after another, it can definitely be pretty challenging to keep your head straight, keep a level head throughout all of it. So mental is a really important thing to have, just that mental stamina. Then looking over Long Beach's keys to victory, I don't know, Neptune, you want to take this side of the prep sheet for me?
Oh yeah, 100% there, but just want to quickly follow up some of your comments from the keys of victory there, right? This is a endurance run, not a sprint here. Red Emberz is on their second match of the night right here, so they're going to be pretty warmed up from the last game, or they might be feeling a bit fatigued here. It's a matter of balancing that out here, but comparing that to Long Beach Golds, a lot more straightforward and simple and straight to the point here. I like that quite a bit here with mental resets, having a good mental just between games, right? Just, hey, I didn't like what happened there, right? We can focus on some other things, right? Which leads into number 2, which is enabling the good and fixing the bad, right? Straightforward, simple, talk about it as with your team. Hey, that went well. Hey, that went really well. Let's try and replicate that success there. And then the last one, I think this one's the most important here. Having fun, playing, and frolicking. Ooh, I love that word, Nikki.
Frolicking. I mean, I'm right there with you. It's a fun one to say, frolicking. But just talking a bit more about these two teams, Red Emberz, obviously the top seeded team in all of CCA this season. They're up, 3-0 in the season so far? They're looking extremely dominant. And to their opponent's credit, CSULB, I mean, they're looking they've been playing pretty admirably this season so far, going 2-1 in the season so far, only 1 loss under their belt. I mean, obviously, Red Emberz is a very intimidating opponent, being the top-seeded team in the entire division. And obviously, because we got a bit of a reschedule here, we're looking at some different map modes than what we saw last time. So we'll hop into our first game on Inkblot Clam Blitz. Any thoughts on this map mode, Neptune?
This is a pretty interesting map here. I think this can be a really interesting map mode combination, especially for Long Beach's comp. They have the Ballpoint Nouveau up and ready. The Splatling is online. The Inkback is ready to help push this through. We're going to start this off here with Love Trial on this squeezer, looking for an opportunity to get in this situation right here. But one already goes down here from Long Beach here, Nikki.
Yeah, I mean, Red Emberz are going to have an early advantage. Zuka online as well, trying to find some space. Love God's putting in work with the squeezer, finding one. The plat is fairly uncontested right now, so Red Emberz are taking a lot of space. The Brutch is up in bats, getting in the whales behind them. CSULB is going to go for a big splashdown, try to clear them out. Finds one, but they're going to be 2 down here. Make that 3. It's just the dualies left the line. They're going to get picked up. That's a delayed wipe. Red Emberz are in an extremely aggressive forward position, but it seems like it took a little bit long to actually make a ball. They're eventually going to do it, breaking the basket open. They have a ton of clams online. They have complete control of the economy. Coming in for yet another ball. This push is looking extremely powerful, and the ball is very much in Long Beach's court.
Yeah, very much so. That was a fantastic push from Red Emberz. They're already getting 41 points on the board, 59 remaining here, and they get another double with the Zuka right here, and Zolo is looking for an opportunity to get in here along with Cliff to score more of these power clams here, and you can see Red Emberz biding their time, popping that cooler, looking for other opportunities, and just finding a way to get in here, especially with Corona Beer on this brush right here, who's trying to look at these off angles, get these opportunities to move up here. You see this patience here, as Long Beach is just kind of stuck on their platform here, Nikki.
Yeah, I mean, you said it really well. Long Beach is stuck on their plat right now, and what's really unfortunate about that is that it means Red Emberz has complete control of the economy. They have 3 power clams online. They're struggling to keep all of them up as players are going down. That one ball on the left side of the map is just sitting there, and Corona's going to opt to Looks like they're trying to juggle it, keep the ball alive, try not to die to the vacuum, waiting for a clip to come back in, only for their jump to get camped immediately there by the Slosher. Red Embers are kind of stuck in a bit of a... They're forced to fall back here a little bit. They're starting to lose a lot of momentum. Long Beach is doing a great job at slowly but surely pushing up closer and closer to the basket as they gear up for their first push of the game.
Yeah, definitely. The mid control here is in Long Beach's favor right now as they manage to get his one pick on Zolo. The shot is down. The brush is on the right-hand side. They're going to have to deal with it. They quickly deal with it. They have strikes. They have the splashdown. The back is popped. This is go time right here, Nikki. They need to be able to get these points in really quick, and Love Trial is forced to back out as Tails manages to get at these claims here, scrambles it in, gets another one more claim here, the lead will be swapped here, Nikki, and they might be able to do it!
Yeah, that was a fantastic push from Long Beach. It looks like they're trying to keep the push going, but unfortunately, if them going 3 down, the Doolies still trying their best to stay as forward as they can. They're getting called out here. All of Red Emberz is hunting down this Doolies player. They couldn't get out in time. But regardless, that was a really good push from Long Beach. I mean, they had specials online. They coordinated them well. Got 2 balls in with enough follow-up to get the lead. I mean, but Red Emberz, you know, they're not letting that loss and lead get to them. They are retaliating furiously right now, taking up a lot of space, taking control of the stacks. Azuka online as well. This game has been unbelievably rapid fire. Their specials go off every second. Corona's up on the plat making moves. It's going to be difficult for Long Beach to try to hold this position, especially if them going 3 down.
Oh my god, the trades are going crazy right now, Nikki. Just most of these players, it's getting very scrappy, especially on this platform right here with that basket wide open. Corona is going to jump in here, missing the power claim, unfortunately, by being too close there. The shoe is going to be able to splash down on there and clear out their side of the clip basket just for a little bit more time. Is just exactly what Long Beach needs here. But no, the pressure is still on them, Nikki. There's not much time to be able to respond and get back into mid.
Yeah, that missed power claim throw from Corona is absolutely tragic. I mean, as you said, like, they were just too close to the wall. They physically couldn't tilt their Pro Controller any further up to get the ball, and so the ball's just going to bounce off the wall. And that means, like, Red Emberz, they're in pretty good shape. One more ball will get them the lead, but if them being stuck mostly on flat, one going down, Long Beach is in a great position to try to get another push going to try to extend their lead. Finding another one as well. Azuka in a really aggressive position. The basket's wide open. Oomph on the ball points, running to get the ball in. With enough follow-up as well, they're going to slightly extend their lead.
Oh yeah, definitely. Getting that basket open there, just getting a few extra points here, definitely gonna send a message here to Red Emberz saying, like, hey, we can break open that basket, we can contest you in mid here, you have to take us seriously, you need to you get those resources to get us out of here. And now it's going to be the last 20 seconds of the game plus overtime right here as 2 go down from Red Emberz. I don't believe the members are cool, Nikki. This might be it here for Red Emberz here. They are going to be able to get a pick with the bomb here, but let's see how this is going to turn out here.
Yeah, Red Emberz are going to have one more chance to try to get the lead here. They have multiple balls online. Only 20 seconds worth of overtime, though. They're going to have to move really fast if they want to get any chance of winning here. It looks like the Brush is trying to dive in, maybe trying to get jumps in for their teammates, but the Brush is going to get picked off. It's just a Tri-Slosher. They get the ball in, and that's enough to get the lead. A very desperate last-second comeback for Red Emberz, but a win nonetheless. Really strong stuff from them. Like, just what an insane opening game. Constant back and forth. There was never a dull moment in that game, I feel.
Yeah, there was no dull moment indeed. I'd argue that entire game was nothing but a roller coaster for both teams at both points. And there was a situation where the Red Emberz was just going to control mid for the rest of the entire game, but they managed to be broken wide open when they managed to get multiple members of Red Emberz down here and be able to secure all the way to their plat here and bringing the clam economy so close to each other. And these fights, Nikki, are so interesting to watch, especially since Long Beach does not have a cooler of their own, if you haven't already noticed.
I mean, yeah, like, they're when you're running a coolerless comp against a team that is running a cooler weapon like Tri Nouveau, it's really difficult to keep up with that coolered team because it kind of means you have to work twice as hard to get the same output as the team with cooler. You get picks, but it's like those picks don't matter when they can just respawn and jump back in immediately. But despite that, like, Long Beach put up a really good fight. I mean, Red Emberz, they only came in to get the comeback in the 11th hour of that game. If things had just gone slightly differently, if one pick was maybe... Like, if just one pick had gone slightly differently, maybe Long Beach actually takes that game. Yeah, and, like, if you're Long Beach, you know, going up against the most intimidating team in all of CCA, Red Emberz, your first game being that close and that tight is probably a really good morale boost and a really good sign. It sucks to lose, but that game shows, yo, we could still put up a really good fight. And, like, who knows? Like, if we just try a little bit harder, if the pieces fall into place just slightly better, we might be able to actually not just take a few games, but potentially win this set.
Absolutely, Nick. You couldn't have said it better myself. And it kind of links back to that keys to victory that we mentioned earlier about mental resets and enabling the good and fixing the bad here. I imagine what's going on in that VC right now is these members are talking it out. They are trying to figure out, hey, that worked pretty well, but what didn't that last push there? We might have been overextended a little bit there, gave Red Emberz quite a lot of room to play around with and just put a lot of pressure on their plat. But hey, we're going to be going into game number 2 with Zone's Umami Ruins here. We're going to be having a dual zone here, so it's going to be quite a bit more interesting to be able to cap the zones here. You're going to have opportunities to stall as well as fight through that top mid platform here, Nikki.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, Umami Zones is one of the most lockout-heavy maps in the game. The map effectively only having 2 ways out of spawn, and one of them I affectionately call the Death Pit. And it seems like Long Beach is trying to take advantage of how defensive this map mode is on lockout by running not only a heavy splat lane, but a passive mid line in the vanilla dually Squelchers. So we have to see how that works out for them. Seems like both teams are opting to play things fairly passively to start, although Red Emberz getting a little too ambitious there. They're going to go 3 down, forcing Cliff, the last one to fall back, trying to preserve their cooler so they could use the counter push. We're going to have to see how they handle it. Long Beach is in a really good position. The splat lane up on top mid there, it's exactly where they want to be. If they play their cards well, they could easily just lock out Red Emberz for a quick knockout here, especially with them preserving 3 of their specials.
Yeah, 100% here. Umami is one of those maps here where you need to pop your specials at the right time, at the right place. As 2 members of Red Ember goes down right here, Corona Beer is going to be able to train out one of them, but Funny Man, I'm doing the things with the funny shot right here, right now, taking them down here and just putting the stall all game even further beyond here. And now this dome is under fire, and there's not much of an opportunity for Red Emberz to find a re-entry at this moment.
Yeah, Red Emberz, like, they're in a really rough spot. They had a good attempt at a counter push with a lot of specials online, but it seemed to be squandered. Long Beach's defense was just too rock solid. They're gonna have, looks like, one more chance to try to get back into the zone here. Corona trying to threaten top mid with the Tri-Slosher Cliff. Pushing back the heavy splatting, the defensive core of Long Beach's comp is out of the picture, and that means Red Emberz is finally going to have the space they need to play aggressively, take space, and flip the zone. So Long Beach, they were within striking distance of that fast knockout, but it looks like we're going to have a bit more game to play with as Long Beach is going to have a fairly substantial penalty to work through.
Yeah, 100% here. And something I'm noticing about using the dually Squelchers here, you know, you have the Wave Breaker just to help fish out the Sharks here, as Long Beach is going to pop specials of their own here in an attempt to break through once again here, but it's not going to be able to lead to much success here. Tails is on this Slosher here, looking to get these picks on the zone here, but not going to be able to quite do it here. Holding on to dear life here as the members of Red Emberz snuffs them out, and it looks like it's going to be Red Emberz doing the exact same thing they were doing, that Long Beach was doing at the very start of the game.
Yeah, I'm just now noticing, because you pointed out the vanilla dually Squelchers, is that Long Beach is actually running double Wave Breaker right now, potentially to try to keep marks on the Ink Brush, because an unchecked Ink Brush is a disaster waiting to happen. But if having 2 Wave Breakers, it means you're really lacking in entry tools, and unfortunately that lack of entry tools meant that once Red Emberz did get into like the lockout position they needed to be in, it was really difficult for Long Beach to come back in and try to take any space. So Red Emberz was able to just run it straight down from 100 to 0. A classic textbook example of a knockout on Umami Zones.
100% textbook, right in the books, word for word, quoted it and cited all the way to the very end here. And that's exactly what Red Emberz pulled here. You notice just the immediate lockout there. The double Wave Breaker is a little bit tricky to run on this map here, because as you said before, it's not really pushing special, but something that they use to help maintain the zone and get it to the 10 points remaining here. But Red Emberz manages to find these picks, find their way in onto this dome here, and just completely shut out any chance that Long Beach had here. You saw either strikes coming out onto the right-hand side of the zone in this replay right here, and it's just not going to be enough, especially when multiple people are going to be painting over it, and Long Beach just did not have the time there to respond there. But hey, it's still a nail-biter here, Nikki. It's just these matches have been a lot closer than expected here, and Long Beach is still putting up quite a bit of a fight here, Nikki.
I mean, yeah, like, I really want to emphasize that point, just how close a lot of these games are. Like, that first game came down to overtime, just the difference of 1 power claim. That game, Long Beach was within striking distance of the knockout and just kind of fumbled it at the last second. Like, what Long Beach needs to be doing is thinking to themselves, these games are so close. Like, we need to just think to ourselves, if we can just push things a little bit better, go take just 1 extra step, then we can win, right? We can actually like get the knockout, get the win over them. And they need to let the idea of just being one step away motivate them in order to really come in and get the wins they need. And hopefully we'll be seeing a bit of that on our third game, Tower Control on Mako. One of the most popular map modes in the game, I'd say. It's like, you see this a lot in map lists. A pretty radically different comp from the side of Long Beach. I've seen a lot of different things with the Octobrush and the Heavy Edit, which means they're finally going to have a cooler of their own to try to match the tempo that Cliff is setting for their cooler from the Tri Nouveau. We're going to have to see how it works out for them.
Yeah, the Octobrush Nouveau pick is quite an interesting one, especially on a map like this, like Mako Mart, where you are able to stuff out quite a bit of people on these stacks here. But it just seems like Long Beach is immediately just going to be able to back up here. They do manage to secure 2 picks here, and APOC on this Octobrush is looking to live, find these opportunities here. But no, the first checkpoint is already down here, Nikki. It looks like Red Emberz had said, enough is enough. We're the dominant team here. It's our turn to push here. You cannot stand a chance here.
Yeah, I mean, Red Ember's first push is looking very dominant. I say as they go 2 down. They're going to push the tower just shy of getting to the second checkpoint. The second checkpoint generally being the... Oh, that's a deal instead of Red Emberz. $20 a year. Get your cheap jokes in, everyone. This is within the vote set. Happened before the... Although, actually, no, we're past 50 points, right? No, they are going to elect to cancel the game. I believe that's the vote set. That happened before the halfway point of the game. Although I was under the impression that after 50 points you couldn't do that. I may be mistaken.
Yeah, I think this might be a quite interesting situation, because if you notice there, Red Ember's member was the one to end the match there, right?
Right.
It's fully, so it might be their responsibility here. Again, the rule set, we are looking it up, folks, here as we trying to figure stuff out right now. But hey, that was really, really unfortunate there from... how do I say it, Red Ember's side there, especially with the explosive momentum that happened there from the start. Yep.
Okay, so
Nikki, we just heard the voices in our head here. We now have the knowledge to hear. Do you want to explain to the folks here they're watching straight from home here?
Yeah, sure. So the voices in our head, as Neptune called them, otherwise known as our lovely producer tonight, informed us of the voice set after looking it up. What has to happen is the player who DC'd, like that disconnect has to happen within the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the game, so that checks out. And notably, in terms of the score aspect of redoing a game when there's a disconnect involved, it has to be a disconnect on the side of the team who hasn't pushed past 50 points, which in this case, since Red Emberz was past 50 points, they were totally within the right to reset the game. Still unfortunate because, as Neptune was saying, their first push was absolutely beautiful, and now it's like it didn't even happen. But we're just going to have to hop back into the game like nothing happened, you know, just redo it. Hopefully, like, if you're Long Beach, hopefully you use the first minute of that game. Like, you learn, like, you look back and think to yourself what went well, what didn't go well, and try to adapt accordingly. It looks like both teams are opting to play things very similarly to how they started. Long Beach is already 3 down. The last one's caught in an exposed position, forced to fall back. But Cholo here, or Zolo, is being really aggressive, pushing them all the way back onto their plat. It looks like Red Emberz, they're not letting that disconnect get to them. Like, their first push on our second attempt of Mako TC is looking to be just as explosive as the first time around.
Oh yeah, 100%. It is explosive just as the first time around here, but it's just going to be a little shy of that second checkpoint here. The script is not completely set in stone here, Nikki, as members of Long Beach are looking for opportunities to be able to take Red Emberz members out here from away from this right stack right here as 2 go down, but I believe they were coolered, so it's going to be a little bit more of a struggle here to get back into mid here and get control of this right stack, as Zolo on this shot here is doing everything in their power to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, it looks like both teams are kind of falling back into neutral, trying to survive the Zipcaster from the side of the Octobrush there. Long Beach is throwing everything they have at Red Emberz. Strikes, Zipcaster, the Headit's going to find one, or excuse me, the Headit's actually going to trade there, but with Cooler online, that trade actually benefits Long Beach. And it looks like they're trying to get a push of their own going, trying their best not to get murked by the Ink Rush. They're going to rally and pincer him in really nicely there. They're threading the first checkpoint. The ball is very much in Red Ember's court as they try to slow down the tower using their Cooler and Zukas to their advantage.
Yeah, 100% there. That was really good patience on Long Beach. They saw the double Zuka got popped right there, and we're like, all right, let's chill out. Let's get off this tower. Let's just reset, get our resources here online here, and get back on here. But never mind. Red Emberz has a response for that. Even if you dodge the Zukas, you cannot just dodge the onslaught of players that are going to be ready to rush you down, especially Corona Beer on this Ink Brush, looking for an opportunity to go in here. They're biding their time, looking for an opportunity. They're weak here, but APOC on the Octo Brush is managing to be able to show them who is a superior brush, and their 6 seconds for noticing the sharks that are happening in the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, the Octobrush there, like, they smelt a rat. I mean, the shark from Corona was a really good idea in theory. You know, they had that delayed wipe. They were able to get behind them like that. But the Octobrush, like, they smelled something sneaky going on. They put a lot of bombs over there to try to flush them out, and it worked out beautifully for them. And that kind of means that Red Emberz push, I mean, it was looking really good. They had a lot of space to take because of the delayed wipe they had. But, I mean, they didn't get any points off of that. And if the not the Rainmaker, excuse me, wrong mode. With the tower back in mid, we're stuck back in neutral as both teams are giving up to find another opportunity to try to take advantage here.
Yep, another classic start there from Corona, trying to trade out from the more valuable specials, because entry E-tools with that Zuka is pretty important to Long Beach to be able to move in here. But it seems like Cliff is being forced to jump out here just barely in time here. They are close to Cooler, so that was very tactical here. But hey, it's going to be Corona with the flank here, trying to get behind them. They're camping the Zipcaster here, but it seems like this tower is going to shift over just barely, not long enough here. And now Long Beach is only 2 points shy from being able to break through, but just not enough to get the lead here.
Yeah, Red Emberz cutting it a bit close there. It seems like they got a bit distracted looking for picks instead of focusing on the objective. Red Emberz got a lot of... excuse me, I'm getting my teams backwards. Long Beach came within striking distance of taking the lead there. Although Red Emberz, within the last minute, they got back to tower, forced them off, and now they have a really strong push of their own going here. Corona stuck behind them, finds one. Whale's online. It looks like they're going to trade another one. He's stuck in the corner, weak to lasers, going to go down. Red Emberz are past the second checkpoint, past the hardest part of the map, in my opinion. They're threatening the third checkpoint now. This game is snowballing out of control. Long Beach is going to have one more shot to come in and try to stop this tower.
It seems like this is going to be the case here. APOC manages to get the one on tower, but it's going to be Corona Beer and Love Trial going to be still alive here. They're going to be holding this right stack here and just basically pinch hitting Long Beach from ever setting up on their platform, which is completely necessary to be able to retake mid at this point right here. Corona Beer is doing everything in their power to make sure they stay on this platform, hiding in the smallest patches of ink right now, Nikki. It is almost 30 seconds left here. What else can Long Beach do to get this back here?
Yeah, I mean, right now, what Long Beach really needs to do, I think, is try to think about this game in steps. They don't have a lot of time to work with, so they're really only going to have enough time for one more attempt at a fantastic push. And that means they're going to have to take it in steps. They're going to have to work on getting back their stack first, then taking the enemy stack, then pushing the tower from there, and then trying to get something, like, really good going. They can't afford to brute force it here, because if they do, they might as well be feeding. But unfortunately, Red Emberz, they understand that. They're holding on to Long Beach's stack just vigorously. Long Beach is forced to dive tower. It has to be the Zipcaster. They're desperately diving onto it. 3 of them together. They're going to go 2 down, although Red Emberz really isn't in a good position. A huge splat bomb is going to take out all of them. All they need to do is touch tower. They get around to it, and that's going to be another win in the books for Red Emberz. They're going up 3-0 in the set. Within match point, Long Beach is on their last leg. They're really going to have to make some adaptations if they want any chance of turning this set around.
Oh yeah, couldn't have said it better myself, Nikki. Just that splat bomb at the end there was disgusting, flushing out any odds or hopes of the push going any more forward. I did see the cooler get popped at the very end here, but hey, we're going to check this replay out quite a bit here. So APOC, noticing it's only 10 seconds left, backs up to make sure their Zipcaster is safe as they go to Zip Tower right here. And as you see in this last second, in just Long Beach members said, okay, it's time to go. It's go time. Otherwise, there's no time for us to do anything else. So they just rush in, take 3 members of Red Emberz down immediately, completely rush Zolo on the shot right here, managed to get them here, but what the one thing they did not manage to be able to account for is a splat bomb on tower there from Corona Beer, shutting down all the momentum in that push. What a game there, Nikki.
I mean, yeah, like, we're continuing the trend of this set. These games are dangerously close. A lot closer than I think a lot of people were expecting. I mean, Red Emberz, again, they have quite the reputation within CCA, taking 3rd place last season in Division 1. They're currently destroying every team they play against. But Long Beach is showing that, like, despite them likely being intimidated by Red Emberz, like, they're still able to put up a really good fight against them. Although with them being back into a corner here, we're at match point, they're really gonna have to come together within the 11th hour to try to turn this set around as we head into our 4th map mode, Rainmaker Humpback.
Oh my goodness, Rainmaker Humpback. What can you say about this map mode that hasn't been already said before here? Rainmaker, first check, not that bad. Getting to the end there, that is a mile and a half there of a run that you need to be able to get in there and within only a few minutes. But it seems like Long Beach is going to be subbing out here, and this was just a tiny bit of a mistake here, Nikki. But hey, let's talk a little bit more about Rainmaker Humpback and why it is a classic inspired Splatoon 3 map list.
I mean, it definitely is one of the more popular Rainmaker map modes in this game, I find. And frankly, like, I would have to agree with everything you just said. The first checkpoint in this map is generally considered to be pretty easy to take. But if you consider where first checkpoint is, most teams opt to go to the checkpoint on the right side because it's a much better staging position to push past first checkpoint. But immediately past the first checkpoint on right, going through that choke point, working towards the final checkpoint, that is one of the most brutal choke points in any map mode in this game. So getting past that first checkpoint is brutally difficult and usually requires a lot of really tight special coordination or just really strong team play or perhaps some other third thing, like let's say a cheeky flank going around the other side of the map. What is interesting to think about is if the only reason why we had to reset that game was because of a substitution on the side of Long Beach. What I think is interesting to note is that Red Emberz, despite them being in a different map list, because this is a rescheduled match for them, they just played this map mode in their last set against Night Sharks. This was the 7th game, I believe, of that set. So, I mean, like, they're already warmed up to play Rainmaker on Humpback. But what's interesting is that they're actually running a different comp than what they ran in that set. Probably because this is... that was in the Play All 7, and this is in the actual, like, first 4 games of the match, so there's actual stakes attached to it. So I understand Red Emberz going for the tried and true. They've been sticking to the same 4 weapons every game so far. But it is interesting to see how they're going to adapt to playing this map mode twice, but if a different time around.
Wait, that dually play, flanking right side there, got 2 picks immediately after that ink brush went down and mid right now. It's Long Beach's time here to cook. That first checkpoint's going to fall here. Hardly 30 seconds on the clock here, Nikki. This is absolutely insane momentum here from Long Beach here.
Yeah, what a shot! My goodness! Going for the Arc of Suka. Vacuum online as well. The Rainmaker is free just to run it for points. Getting it all the way down to 23. That is a beautiful push. They're through the hardest part of the choke point. I mean, that choke point I mentioned earlier, Vacuum really is one of the best specials to use to get through it, and Long Beach just pulled that off with flying colors. Like, that's a very difficult push to get past. Although, with Cliff here, Rainmaker taking it around the right side, the checkpoint's uncontested. They're unfortunately going to miss the pick on the lone Rainmaker, so the checkpoint's going to fall easily here. I say, actually, as the... who was that? The Order Slosher.
That was Tails, Long Beach's Slosher. Yeah, that was a last-second pick there from Tails there, Nikki. That was such a good play here. Buys just enough time for the members of Long Beach to find an opportunity to push in here, as right now Red Emberz has the Rainmaker, gets shut down here by the Zuka. They are maintaining momentum here, Nikki. It is like a Uno reverse card has been played at this very moment, and now it's Long Beach you're doing the explosive pushes at the start and have to respond to, the pushes that are coming to them and recovering from them.
Yeah, and like we're kind of seeing a bit of that brutal choke point that we mentioned earlier, right? Red Emberz, they got to the first checkpoint fairly easily. A few troubles here and there. Again, that bucket kept them stalled for a little bit longer than Red Emberz would have liked. But getting past the first checkpoint, they had Rainmaker, they had everyone there. They were geared up for another big push, but that choke point is so brutal that Long Beach just kind of dumping all of their bombs and specials into the choke point. That completely shut Red Emberz down. And now it looks like they're electing to leave the Rainmaker back in their spawn, waiting for a reset, as both teams kind of fall back in the neutral, grappling to find any advantage they can.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Rainmaker is looking to reset right here, but Corona is going to smartly grab this Rainmaker and keep it on the right-hand side just for positioning's sake, leading less angles to be able to approach this from here, but it's just going to be oomph on that ink vac right there, slowly shutting down and sucking the life out of that poor ink brush right here, and now it's their turn to hold the Rainmaker and move it there towards their side of the map here, easing a bit of pressure off that they were feeling for the last minute or so there, Zicky.
Looks like Long Beach is opting to play things rather patiently with the Rainmaker. Now, that's actually going to seem to cost them with the Zuka finding the Rainmaker, like, just out in the open like that. Both teams have been stuck in neutral for some time. It seems like the Rainmaker's really having a hard time getting out of mid here. And if you're Long Beach, that's exactly what you want. You have a fairly substantial lead. At this point, all you need to do is play hyper defensive and keep the Rainmaker away from your side of the map. Although Red Emberz not letting that stand, they're giving him for yet another push. The strike's coming in, trying to flush them out. They're going to manage to hold out a little bit.
Wait,
Love Trial's in a great position.
Wait. That's an Ink Brush flanking there. It's going to be able to shut down one of their members right there as well. And it just seems like this Ink Vac is barely going to be able to hold on. Pop that Rainmaker shield there. Corona's flank there. Great idea. Execution there is just a little bit off there. That could have easily turned south there from Long Beach here. But hey, 1 minute and 20 seconds left here. Can Long Beach hold this defense there? The Rainmaker reset right there might be a blessing in disguise here, giving them just a little bit more time, squeezing out just every single bit in second here. The Zuka gets popped right now. The Rainmaker's going to be run right here, and it gets shot down by the... What was that, Nikki?
I can't even say what's going on anymore. Like, Long Beach is really hanging on by a thread. Like, slowly but surely, they're getting pushed further and further back into their own spawn, just hoping and praying that they can hold out for just a little bit longer, waiting for the clock to tick down to 0. Oomph is smartly going to drop the Rainmaker off the ledge. It's very close to the right side of the map, though, and if Red Emberz plays their cards well, they could get a pick on that side of the map, leaving the Rainmaker dangerously close to the left route. Although it looks like they're opting to push it forward, trying to get it as far away as possible from their side of the map. Definitely the right thing to do, but it means with only 30 seconds left in the game, Red Emberz they're gonna have a very long way to go in order to get a lead here. Like, they really need to make something happen if they want to get that 4-0 sweep.
Yep, definitely. The 4-0 sweep might be out of their reach now. It's going to be Cliff running it on the other side of the map here. It's going to leave the Doolies to be the one to deal it. One last splashdown. Going to seal the deal here. Love Trial and Zolo going to make a run for it, but they're not going to be doing it. Long Beach takes their first game and the first game off Red Emberz this entire season, Nikki.
That is huge for Long Beach. Like, coming in at the 11th hour, just barely squeaking out a win, but showing Red Emberz that, yes, they do have the potential to not only put up a fight, but actually take a game over them. That they really need to, like, channel all of the good feelings from that game into how they play from here on out, because if they play their cards well, like, we could have the makings of a reverse 4-0 sweep on our hands.
100%, Nikki. Just that situation right there was played desperately from both sides here. You can see the scramble in both these teams here. Cliff realizing everyone on Long Beach have been heavily contesting that choke here. Corona already on this flank probably calls this out. Try and go to the left side here, and it's going to be Cliff desperately trying to do one last ditch effort to make it through here with Love Trial and Zolo doing everything in their power to just hopefully follow that up there in the last couple of seconds there. But no, Long Beach shuts it down and just immediately takes that game, playing defense just out of their mind for that game there.
Yeah, a fantastic shine for Long Beach, and also commenting on something you just mentioned, that loss for Red Emberz is their first lost game of the entire season, I believe. So if you're Red Emberz, right, like, that's got to be a bit of a reality check, like, finally losing a game to another team. Showing that, like, despite them playing a team that was actually, like, a lower seed in their group, like, they can't afford the sandbag here.
100%, Nikki. You can't afford any more punches or pulls, any E-tricks, or anything that can lead you to have another game loss right here. We are going to be going to Clamblett. It's Museum Delfonsino here, but I want to point out that Long Beach, once again, is upsetting a lot of staff predictions, all I'm going to say. Being lower seeded, right, obviously has its expectations, like, oh, hey, we're not going to look at you the same way, but hey, when you are on stream and ready to show the world what you are made out of, that, hey, we are a force to be reckoned with, and you cannot take us lightly, otherwise we will take games away from you, like in that last game there, it's certainly going to be going down here on Clamblett's Museum Delfonsino here, Nikki.
I mean, I would love to say we're hopping into Clamblett and Museum Delfonsino, but it seems like we have yet more connection issues this time from the side of Long Beach. We're going to cancel this right away. This time, the fact that it's on Long Beach's side means they can use their 1 reset if necessary. That's exactly what they're doing. No issues there. $20 a year. Get your cheap jokes in, of course.
I'll take my $20 and leave. Thank you very much, Nikki.
Maybe Long Beach just got a little bit too excited after that first win of theirs. I mean, God knows they probably popped off extremely hard last game. So we're gonna get that disconnected player back in, hop back into it like nothing happened. Again, like stuff like this happens way more often than it probably should. But it's understandable. No shame to any of the players involved, of course.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's also going to be a sub here from Long Beach's side as well here. So hey, perhaps the DC was a blessing in disguise here, right? You know, you get to sub one more member in and properly get that there before any more awkwardness ensues in that message thread that they are currently chatting in right now. But hey, you know what? It's going to be very interesting here because remember APOC was the one on the Octobrush before, and you saw Shu, the ones the Japanese characters, right? Rocking a lot of dually EEs from on the last couple of games that we saw there. So I'm curious to see how an Octobrush and a dually player is going to be able to mix and match with each other here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, both weapons have a lot of offensive potential. So, I mean, like, maybe the idea is, obviously, ISU, one of their key strengths is just how aggressive they play. Most of the times they're running a backless comp, with the squeezer being the longest range thing they have, which is a very aggressive midline, not even a backline, right?
Yeah.
So maybe the idea is bringing out weapons like dualies and Octobrush, weapons with a lot of offensive potential to try to match ISU's crazy aggressive tempo and try to keep up with them. Because otherwise, like, if you try to play more slowly, ISU is just gonna like keep running into you and never let up until eventually they break through your defensive line, and then after that, the game might as well be over. And we're seeing a bit of that from Long Beach now. Like, they're also running the backless comp.
Yeah, definitely. Backless or backless, you know, an eye for an eye makes the world go blind. And hey, sometimes making your opponent go blind can make you score a couple of points here, especially when a bomb is going to catch you off-site here and immediately give Long Beach the advantage here that they're looking to take mid here from.
Yeah, I mean, so we got Corona going for an early flank. The last player dualies are caught out. They're forced to jump out. That's going to give Red Emberz a lot of space to take, especially with Cooler online as well. They can afford to play very aggressively here. Although Corona's not opting to back up, they're looking to stay forward, giving Zolo there, I believe, the space they need to get the clam in. Red Emberz are desperately trying to get any follow-up they can. They find one clam, but it's looking like they're not able to find any more. And oh geez, what's going on? Yikes, another DC!
Oh, okay. Maybe they took the comment about eye for an eye makes the world go blind, and actually it just deletes you from the video game here, Nikki.
Oh dear.
Okay, this is quite an awkward situation to be in, but hey, I guess you could say the script has been a little bit been messed with here. It's being tinkered, it's being tempered, it's being edited, right? I'm not sure what is going on here. Red Emberz here on their way to play all these matches here tonight, but cannot, unfortunately, do so with all the DC problems that are happening here. So, yeah, we're going to be looking at the rule set here and trying to figure out things as we sort this out here. But, Nikki, in the meantime, you want to talk a bit about Clamblitz Museum del Foncino and the map mode in general?
Yeah, sure. We haven't been talking about it much, probably because we're too busy trying to keep up with all the connection issues we're having, of course. But Museum Clamblitz. It's a fairly popular map mode, I'd say. You see this one a lot in a lot of map lists that still run Clamblitz. The basket is fairly deep into the enemy team spawn, so usually teams have to play... Like, you gotta push quite deep in to actually score any points here. Taking control of the enemy spinner is usually how you get a lot of your points on this map mode. Once you have control of their spinner, it gives you the space to play around on all sides of it, and it gives you a lot of opportunities and a lot of angles to score from. So maintaining control of the plat area and subsequently the spinner on top of plat is key to like getting any amount of points on this map mode. Otherwise, it plays like a fairly standard Clamblitz map. I feel like a lot of people like this one because there aren't a lot of gimmicks to it. There's not a lot of like tricks or like weird things you need to know. Usually the victor of Clamblitz on Museum, I find, is just whichever team has better fundamentals and a better understanding of the game state.
Yeah, definitely. Just everything you said there just completely makes so much more sense. Just way order than any way I can put that there, right? And just it's kind of a crazy way in which that one little block there is able to shift quite a bit of momentum. Especially you saw that last game there how Corona managed to use the ink brush to sneak up onto the spinner while Long Beach was already occupied trying to hold the ramp area there and just create a pinch where literally the dualies had no other choice but to jump out there and just basically give up the spinner all the way for Red Emberz there.
Yeah, like the comment a bit on like just how Red Emberz were playing at the start of that game as you were addressing, right? I feel like Red Emberz, they were playing, like, again, they're a very aggressive team, but that last game, Like Red Embers really dialed up the aggression. Seems like they took that loss personally. Like they're trying to send a message to Long Beach now. Like, all right, listen, man. Like you don't want to see us when we're angry, right? Because they like bluntly, they were moving just unbelievably fast. Long Beach they had no idea where they were getting hit from, and it let Red Embers get such an early advantage over them and get a really early push. Like they opened the basket, it felt like right away, and even when the basket closed, they were still up on their plat, giving up for another push immediately thereafter. Another push they didn't get to follow through with because the game decided to stop functioning for a few seconds.
Yeah, definitely. It's really unfortunate that, like, hey, a lot of these explosive starts, right, that we see from Red Embers, right, are also just like completely. I guess you just say a balloon that just got blown just immediately just gets popped and deflated, right, and it's just really how do I say it? You want to see where it goes from there, and then you replay the game and you realize, wait, Red Embers just does it again right there. It's just like it seems like there is a script writer out there, Nikki, and I don't know who it is, but someone out there is writing a script and is just basically saying, okay, Red Ember's turn to do an explosive push, go, and they hit that go button every time the match starts there.
Listen, if there really is some divine script writer up above who's dictating how these games will go, all I could say is they definitely have a sense of humor.
100%. A sense of humor is something you're going to need, especially in this funny Squid Game that we are trying to play here tonight. And it's really unfortunate that like this our fun times here, as well as the run, is going to be slightly paused here. But hey, Nikki, something else I just want to bring up real quick here is just like keys to victory here, right? And how they are coming into play with the ease. With this game over here on Clan Blitz Museum here, specifically how Red Embers is focusing on how do I say it? Trying to focus on the Splatling player, but hey, there is no Splatling player now, Nikki.
Yeah, and maybe that's kind of in Red Ember's favor. I mean, they specifically mentioned wanting to focus on the Splatling because that was the one thing on their team that outranged them. And when that Splatling player was playing ballpoint, like, even their longest ranged weapon, that Squeezer from the side of Love God, like, they are outranged by a pretty significant margin, which means that ballpoint effectively sets the pace of the game. If the ballpoint's alive, that limits how aggressive Red Embers could be. So if the ballpoint, or just the Splatling in general, being completely out of the picture, it means Red Embers, like, they don't even need to worry about that anymore. Like, they have no restrictions in terms of how aggressive they can be, and I feel like that's why we saw them playing so hyper-aggressive, which is saying a lot, because Red Embers, they're always playing hyper-aggressive, but that last game was, like, turbo hyper-aggressive, right? Like, I felt they were able to get away with that because of the lack of a Splatling player, a lack of any defensive core on Long Beach's comp.
Oh yeah, 100% there. Just Long Beach's comp just shifting over to this backless comp is going to be quite an interesting way in which both teams are going to be responding to each other, because now it just feels like it's going to be a scrapyard fight. Hey, that's just going to be happening in the back of the schoolyard, and it's just it just seems like all punches will just be thrown, and one team's going to be going home lose without their lunch money. Unfortunately, there, Nikki.
Of course. Let's see. I'm looking over at some of the other keys to victory. I mean, at this point, I'm looking at Long Beach's mental reset key to victory, and that makes me really consider the fact that, like, you know, they got that win on Humpback, which is such a huge boon for them, right? Like, to be able to say, yeah, like, we know for a fact that we can't actually keep up with these guys now. We could do the thing that no one else in their group was able to do so far. But right now, like, this game being delayed by so much, it kind of feels like they're getting cooled out. Like, all of that momentum, all the morale they had from that first win, like, all of the adrenaline and hype they could have brought into their next game on Museum CB, it's kind of getting worn out by all of this waiting we're having in between games, which is definitely not ideal for them. Keeping energy up is such a huge part of, like, how much momentum you bring into a set. Like, if you get one win and you, like, pop off over it, there's a lot of hype going around throughout the team, everyone's in a good mood. Usually that first win can, like, spark it sparks the fire within the team that they need to just keep the wins going. But with there being such a huge delay between games, that fire may be dying out a bit earlier than anticipated.
I guess you could say that fire is now becoming an ember in this case.
Oh, nicely done.
But hey, you know what? You have a really good point here, Nikki. Right? Just the mental game is definitely just like out of the room. You know, in the car. You know, locked in there, not available to any of these teams right now because we're trying to sort out the situation right here. It's just how do I say it? You have so much momentum, so much willpower, so much hype, I guess, for lack of a better term, to go into these sets, right, immediately, especially when we just keep watching this replay right here. I am still dumbfounded at how close this actually was and how crazy it was to maneuver the Rainmaker left over the right choke as we realized it just didn't work the other couple of times there for Red Emberz.
Yeah, every time I see this splashdown from the Emberz, I just, like, my jaw drops. It's such a picturesque moment. 1 second later, and the Rainmaker's probably out of range of the splashdown and gets the lead there, but they popped it at just the right time out of nowhere. Red Emberz was totally unprepared for it, and that's a huge part of what got them the win. I swear, like, this is... It's a weird coincidence, but this is actually only the second time I've seen a game-winning splashdown on Humpback Rainmaker at the last second possible. Like, in Div 1, no less. Go figure.
Yeah, no less. It's quite interesting how Div 1 has been shaping up here, Nikki, right? Given how just crazy things have been. Like, this is Red Ember's first loss of the entire season. Not like, I understand like match results and everything like that, but just having a game taken off you just kind of like takes you off that throne and pedestal that the first seed that they normally feel, right? And just shows that anything can happen. And a team that is under a low seed is able to pull up, just move in and just get the wins that they need here, definitely is going to shake the mental of Red Emberz.
I mean, yeah, like that's the big thing. The fact that their first loss came from CSULB Gold, how, as we mentioned a few times, like they were the 5th seeded team in their group at the start of the season, I believe. Like Red Emberz, they've played against some big names like Comet Blasters and Night Sharks just recently. Like they're 4-0ing all of these teams. Like they're looking absolutely unstoppable. And then Long Beach comes in as like a fairly like low expectations team in Div 1. I mean, the biggest accomplishment they have was making playoffs in Division 2 last season. They didn't even win. They just made playoffs. Still impressive, but like they were really like one of like the wild cards of Division 1. That team that everyone was like, oh yeah, like they're in Div 1. Like they're clearly very good, but like, I mean, we don't know how well they're going to do here. Like their potential is a bit unknown. But like Long Beach is coming and saying, no. Like you guys like don't underestimate us. We know what we're doing. And they're proving it by doing the things that all these big established names in Div 1 couldn't do.
Yeah, 100% here, Nikki. Just a lot of I guess you could say there's a lot of like, how do I say it? How do I say this? Mystery in the air, right? When it comes to how these matches are going to turn out here, right? Even though, like, hey, this team was previously on Division 2 this season, while this team made first place, in Division 1 last season. Oh, this clearly is going to be a shutout case here. Anyone who looks at any stat pages or just literally looks at just the basic facts, right? And the recent results and the record is going to be dumbfounded when they realize, hang on, wait, this is the team that takes the first game off Red Emberz? This doesn't check out here. It's going to make every person looking at their notes here scramble, look for a reason on why this is happening here, Nikki.
Mm-hmm. And definitely makes for a powerful tool to any other teams that have to play Red Emberz in the future. I mean, hopefully, we know we have Reef Runners playing against them after this set. Assuming we could finish this set, of course. But I digress. Like, the fact that like Long Beach was able to get this win, it should be something that a lot of teams that are looking to play Red Emberz in the future needs to study. Like, how did Long Beach, a team that, like, according to the stats, really shouldn't be like winning over Red Emberz, like, what did they do to get that unexpected win, and how can we channel it into our own gameplay when we have to play against Red Emberz, right? So teams like Reef Runners or like any of the teams that will likely be seeing Red Emberz going in the playoffs. I say that even though Red Emberz playoff spot has yet to be guaranteed. I'd be very surprised if they didn't make playoffs, but that's a can of worms for another day, of course.
Yeah, holy, another can of worms, I think, is the biggest understatement here. This might as well just be a pile of, I don't know. What's a huge, what's something that'd be a big pile that's like outside at my door right now? Yeah, probably like snow or something like that, even though it's like springtime right now. But hey, Massachusetts weather is weird, Nikki.
Well, like right now, like we've been waiting for quite a bit of time, waiting for the teams to get back into Museum CB. Like I've been thinking to myself, at this point, we might as well just be running our own podcast, trying to find things to talk about these two teams.
Yeah, 100% here. But I guess I can give a little bit more insight on just, how do I say it, Long Beach's mentality going into season, because I do know a few of these players here. And initially this season here, they were going into this saying, like, oh, it's Div 1. We have to, like, play all the most meta things imaginable just to keep our head above the water. But as you saw, Nikki, like, how many times did you count a Snipe Rider in that in their hands, or something that was is just very popular being played on their comp besides the shop there?
I mean, never mind, like, the Snipe Rider, like, half the time they're not even running cooler to begin with, right? That's unbelievable. Like, these days, most teams would say you need a cooler to do well. Like, it doesn't matter what cool weapon it is, most of the time it's gonna be a pencil, but if not a pencil, let's say a Zap or a Heavy Edit, or maybe a Tri Nouveau if you're being particularly bold like Red Emberz. But, like, cooler is always the first thing you need to build a comp around. But Long Beach is making, like, half of their games work without cooler. Sure, I mean, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in that last game on Humpback, the one that they won, they didn't actually have a cooler at all.
Yeah, they never. I think they only had that one cooler there for the, how do I say it, the TC Mako Mart game. And honestly, it's quite interesting to think about how the interactions of cooler play off one another in like I guess you could call it splat theory, right? Theoretically, trading with cooler is a plus for your team because you come back with your special, right, and just your team is able to move off the trade that you created theoretically, right? However, when that cooler was in play there for Long Beach, right, given how they're not used to playing cooler comps in general, right, for the season in particular, they're not going to be able to be as effective as they want to be as they were on, say, Rainmaker Humpback there.
Yeah, for sure. And, like, it's really impressive that they're able to make it work going up against a team like Red Emberz, who, like, I say this lovingly, there's no shame in following the meta, but Red Emberz very clearly likes to follow the trends of the meta. They have a cooler consistently from Cliff's Tri Nouveau, and then they run double Zuka from the Shot and the Squeezer. Like, double Zuka, cooler, it's a staple in the meta for a reason, and, like, they play it very well. But Long Beach has shown that they're able to keep up with a very run-of-the-mill standard conventional team comp or things that are a little bit more unorthodox. And that really, it's a powerful feeling, I think, that any of those teams out there who don't follow the trends of the meta, right? The ones who feel like they're left behind because they don't like to play the things that adhere to the meta. It just goes to show that even up in Division 1, going up against the best team, the top seeded team in the entire league, even in Division 1, right? You can make off-meta comps work.
Oh yeah, 100% there. You saw Red Emberz get a little bit experimental there in their last set, right? Especially given, like, you saw, like, I think the Dowser dualies on, like, TC Haggle. That was just absolutely wild there. They are fully capable of pulling out different weapons and finding a lot of success with them, right? But hey, this is what they sat down, they talked about as a team, right, and said, this is what works best for us, and we are going to make is and run with it for the rest of the season right here. And we have not seen any significant comp changes outside of the play all 7 games here. So I'm curious to see if Red Emberz is willing to perhaps adjust their own game plan to be able to better counteract the game plan I guess other teams have against them. In which case, Long Beach not running a cooler and just holding their ground at certain points of the map there led them to be able to take that victory there, Nikki.
Yeah, just worth noting, commenting on what you just said there about how Red Emberz, outside of the play all 7, they don't typically like to change their comps around too much. It's worth considering that Red Emberz, they run a team of a core 4, so no subs. They only have 4 members on their roster, of course. And those 4 members have been playing, like, together on the same team for some time now. They had no roster changes between seasons 4 and 5. And I think that really acts as a testament to why they play, like, the same 4 weapons so often. Like, they've been playing together for so long that they have a very clear-cut idea of, like, what works best for them as a team, and so they stick to it. Like, they don't have too much of a reason to change outside of some very fringe scenarios, like, say, running a vacuum on Humpback. Exactly, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Anyways, we're finally back in the game. Museum on Clamblitz. Hopefully, fingers crossed, all the connection issues have been sorted out. It looks like they're actually, I don't even know how to describe it, right? Like Red Emberz is actually pulling out some new stuff here for the first time, with Cliff pulling out the, oh dear.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh,
maybe we still have a few kinks to work out before we can hop back into the game. We'll attempt for 4? I've lost count how many times we've tried playing this game.
Let's go over this, Dickie. So there was the DC, I think, what was it? During TC Mako Mart, right? There was the sub mistake, right? I think as well, on Rainmaker Humpback as well, right? I think there was there was a DC on Museum there, and I think there was another problem there that we just witnessed. So yeah, I think count them, Nikki. What was it? I can do first grade math here. You know, that's 4 different instances where this match has been interrupted. It's like the world itself does not want to have these two teams collide once again, as it's going to create an imbalance in our universe somehow, some way.
See, I think I know what's going on. Red Emberz in Long Beach, they see the opportunity to win the title of the single silliest set in CCA history, and they're like, yeah, screw it, we might as well like play into it, right? 5 attempts to play the same map mode? Why not?
Yeah, definitely. But hey, Long Beach is going to be, I got this word on this, they are going to be the gentlemen's here and are willing to play this out, even though they have the ruling to take this game right here. But hey, we're going to try this out one more time here. We are on Spinner in the middle of a Clan Blitz game, Nikki. We are finally here. We are so back, baby.
Of course. And it looks like Red Emberz, I mean, like, they're playing very similarly to how they did in their last attempt on this map mode, being very aggressive, setting themselves up on the plat right away. Corona putting some lasers in a really poor position, gonna get picked off. Long Beach's defense is looking really solid here, finding 3. The Squeeze was forced to fall all the way back, narrowly avoiding death in that rogue splat bomb. And now the tables have been turned. Red Emberz are kind of stuck on their plat, while Long Beach move in very aggressively, although they are going to go 2 down. Make that 3 down.
3, yeah. Oh my goodness. It seems like they tried to do a runaway from the block there. They saw Corona do it one time, and we're like, hey, we can do that as well. And then I guess you could say ISU Red Emberz was ready for that opportunity there and was ready to push back here. But hey, multiple special are going to be popped here on this spinner right now. APOC on the Octobush is going to go down here. 3 members of Long Beach go down. I think they're going to be able to open that basket wide open here and start scoring some good clams here, Nikki.
Yeah, and Corona's in a fantastic position, taking like the key defensive position up on that top left, usually where backlines like to play, finding 2 as well. Long Beach is in a really rough position. They're 3 down with Red Emberz right in front of the basket, still scoring. They're past the 50-point mark. They're in great shape to keep going. Zola coming back with even more clams to keep the push alive. Strikes are going to do their best to try to clear them out. It seems like Red Emberz have finally abandoned the plat, although forfeiting a whole 74 points there before finally getting them off is definitely not ideal for Long Beach. And with Red Emberz still trying to hold control of the right side of mid, they are by no means like forced to fall back into neutral or be stuck in disadvantage here.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be Long Beach's advantage now. You know, they managed to have Zuka on their plat. Not going to find anyone in particular here, but hey, it's going to force Red Emberz to be able to find some way to react to the pressure that Long Beach is going to put on there. Unfortunately, Shu on the dualies is going to go down here, and they're unable to do anything to move forward here as well. But hey, it seems like Red Emberz is just ready to run it back to the Red Emberz basket, get another power clam in here. Granted, the penalty was high here, but hey, you know what? Points are points at the end of the day here, as Long Beach does manage to defend themselves here. They need to find a push of their own, however, if they want to take home this game.
If nothing else, Red Emberz are shredding through their penalty. I mean, like, they didn't score too many points there because their penalty was so high, but now, like, their new penalty is significantly lower. 1 ball is enough to basically completely eliminate that penalty, so any follow-up is going to get them a lot of points now. And if only 20 points left on the board, like, Long Beach can't afford to give up too many points, so the next big chance Red Emberz gets to break the basket could very well be the last one of this game.
Yeah, definitely right here. It's going to be Long Beach trying to do something with that Zuka as well. I think they managed to get the Tri-Slosher as well, but it's just going to be Lovestar. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about another player right here. It's going to be the Squeezer on Red Emberz here. Definitely going to be able to move up here, trade out their opponents here, and already get ready to push up on this plat right here. Squeezer going to set up that wall that loves to hide oh so much and gets a pick here. It seems like that basket's going to be open once again here. The splashdown is going to diffuse any pressure that is being there, but Cliff is going to hop that and not going to get the cooler, unfortunately. So that's actually a pretty big pick there for Long Beach there.
Yeah, that was a really bizarre interaction. It was almost some incredible movement from the side of Cliff there with the Tri-Slosher, but unfortunately, not grabbing their own cooler, and then more importantly, missing the pick there made things really awkward for them. So Red Embers are going to be stuck on their back on their plat, although Long Beach, every time it feels like they have a chance to push, they end up going 2 or 3 down, forced to fall back. Like, they just cannot get Red Embers out of their hair. We're going into the last minute of the game, and I feel like Long Beach has played almost the entirety of this game in their own spawn.
100%, Nikki. This is definitely a really hard matchup for for Long Beach right here, because essentially with the back, by giving up your back line in the splat lane, who outranges everything, they're just going to be able to knock out just like that and take game at number 5 here. The gentleman in's game has finally been concluded. The arc that has been filled and plagued by our voices here, Nikki, has finally came to an end here. Red Embers takes this set here 4-1.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, obligatory congratulations to Red Embers on their win. They are now 4-0 in the season, meaning as of right now, they're guaranteed a spot for playoffs, I believe. Can't say we're too surprised by that. Of course, they were the top seeded team in their group and the entire league, so them not making playoffs would have probably been a bigger upset. But regardless, they've made the dance, so kudos to Red Embers. Long Beach put up a really valiant effort. Again, that game on Humpback really shows that given the right circumstances, they could have, like, they were able to keep up with them when given the right circumstances and the right tools. But Red Embers, I mean, like, when they're free to just play as aggressively as they want to because of the lack of a clear-cut backline from that splat lane, it's just so hard to keep up with them.
Yeah, basically, when you're going with a comp like Long Beach's, right, without the backline, right, and you're just going full force with the aggression, you have to match that aggression or be able to respect it in some ways and just not be able to collapse in like that, right, as we saw in that game right there. It's just, unfortunately, the back just got bent too far backwards, and that just allowed Red Ember to just walk in onto that plat here. But hey, Nikki, we are going to be doing Play All 7, so hopefully the script writers can just walk away. You know, they realize the set is done now. The storyline is established right here. The viewers at home know what the idle score is, what's going to be at the end of the night here for these two teams. But hey, hopefully the Play All 7 can be a little bit more lighthearted, and we can at least get to play these games like the Funny Squid game entails.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we're hopping into the Play All 7, of course, obligatory mention that these games don't matter for any statistical purposes. It's a CCA tradition. We're just here for some extra fun and practice and for Red Embers to take a bit of a victory lap. But because of that, because there's no real stakes attached to these games, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more unorthodox weapon picks come out from one, if not both of these teams. We know from their last set against Night Sharks that Red Embers do like to pull out a lot of more unorthodox weapons in the Play All 7. So, like, maybe we'll see things like a 96 Gal or a Charger or like a Rapid Deco. I mean, they're already pulling some funny stuff with the Quad 52 Gal, I think it was. No, Triple 52 and then one custom Explo.
Oh my goodness. Walls, more walls. You get a wall, and you get a wall. It's Oprah here on Splatoon here on this map mode here. And it seems like it's just going to be Long Beach here having to back up from a plethora of walls that are being thrown their way here, Nikki.
And you know, for as silly as it is, it seems to be working quite well for them. I mean, they got an early advantage, taking zone, pushing up very nicely to take control of the far side of mid. And of so many walls, it's really difficult for Long Beach to actually get in there, right? They are going to try to flip the zone, but a quick splashdown from Cliff's going to flip it right back. The Zipcaster's out trying to find any picks, but they just can't seem to make any momentum.
Oh my goodness, the quad wall here. You know, if they were sponsored by like NordVPN or any other VPN company, this would be a perfect time to plug this. Can't get through the 52 firewalls through your thing? Let's try NordVPN here. Get this zone here for free. We try our 1 month trial right here, which is unfortunately not going to be the case here for Long Beach, as these 10 points are going to click away here, not able to break through the Great Wall of 52.
Oh dear Neptune, my goodness.
I'm gonna be honest, I just kind of ran with it right there, but hey, you know what? More walls even stronger. That is the philosophy that Red Embers subscribe to, and now that is going to lead them to that game victory in the Play All 7 right there.
Alright, to all the lovelies watching at home, you've been told quad wall is now meta.
Hey, hang on. Maybe we can start having the community discussion shift to let's ban all the 52 players. Like, let's do that instead rather than actually trying to ban the weapon itself here, because clearly the problem is the wall and not the players, guys. All right, so let's shift discussion to that over there. I'll see you over on twitter.com here. Too early to plug myself there, but hey, that's going to be what I'm going to be tweeting about immediately after this set here. But hey, you know what? It's game number 7 here, Nikki. My voice is slowly going, but we're going to just go straight into this.
We're in the home stretch. Game 7. Probably going to see some more funny picks from the side of Red Emberz. And now, after seeing how effective Red Emberz funny comp was, maybe Long Beach will join in the fun and pull out quad Undercover Brella or quad Big Swig. It's the Wild West right now. Who knows what we're going to see?
Oh my goodness, the Wild West. I don't think the Wild West is even the proper setting for that. What's crazier than the Wild West? I don't know. I don't know. Elementary school playground. Yeah, that's probably what's gonna be right now. You know, especially if we see the quad wall. You know, they're gonna build walls in like that playground set right there. Like, say it's like a sandcastle or something like that. Just prevent Long Beach from being able to play in that. Yeah, maybe that's something I could see. Right, Nikki? Please tell me I'm right.
I could buy it. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Maybe a little
Red
bit
Emberz
too much.
readying up very quickly. I mean, they seem to be pretty confident in whatever comp they're cooking up.
I'm telling you, Dickie, if the quad wall returns and somehow works on Sturgeon Shipyard, this is going to be absolutely crazy and bananas right here. We're gonna have to just tell everyone in CCA, hey, this is the new meta right here. Do you want it banned? Yes or no? I guess I'm getting too ahead of myself here. We're finally here, Nikki. We're at game 7. It's here.
Home stretch, hopping into TC Sturgeon. In my opinion, this map mode kind of plays like a poor man's Inkblot TC. It has a very similar dynamic where you kind of want to take control of the key defensive positions that the opponents want to use to defend the tower when you're pushing. On TC Inkblot, that position is bats. We all know about bats. But here, it's all about that top right position by the Great. If you take control of that early, then it's really easy to get a really good push going to get past that really difficult to take second checkpoint. But looking at the comps, seems like both teams have opted to fall back to more traditional options. No silly quad wall this time. Although Red Emberz is opting to pull out the slightly unconventional Dowser dualies, as well as the Tri-Stringer for the first time.
Yeah, definitely. This is a quad whale comp, if you haven't already noticed, Nikki. You know, every single one of the weapons on Red Emberz is rocking a killer whale right now. So maybe they're trying to get the killer whale and the splash wall band all at the same time here with this set right here. Even though it doesn't count for the stats here, we're all going to remember this set immediately when the season is over, 100% here. But hey, it's going to be Long Beach already taking this tower right here. Bunny Man is going to try and do some funny things on the tower right there, but it's not going to be enough to clear that checkpoint here as Zilla moves in with the 52 here, looking to take some more space as 3 go down on Long Beach, I believe.
I mean, between the constant connection issues and the comps we're seeing, and the fact that there's literally a player named Funny Man in this set, again, if these two teams were trying to take the title of the single funniest set in all of CCA history, I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Oh yeah, 100% here. You know what? Hey, sometimes in the playoff 7, it's not about just winning with the way you gotta do. You gotta do it in a way that's funny and stylish to the audience here, especially when you're live streaming to CCA Twitch. On here, it's gonna be Red Emberz. My voice is dying right here, pushing this tower all the way down here, clearing that slash checkpoint here. If Long Beach doesn't have a response right here, this game is going to be over here. It seems like they're going to stall this tower for as long as possible. Hop back on it here. 9, 8, 7, 6. That's all it's gonna get here, Nikki.
Red Emberz doing a great job at staggering their lasers out one by one to try to elongate their push as long as possible. And they're doing a really good job of exactly what I was describing at the beginning of this map mode, taking control of that top right position by the Greats. That's where Long Beach wants to defend the tower from, so if they can't get in there because there's a bunch of hyperactive offensive slayers up in there, they just can't stop the tower. It's up to the Charge to try to snipe it from a distance, and they're doing a pretty good job of that. I mean, it's all up to Corona and Inkbrush to try to hold down the front line here while they get jumps in for their team. Long Beach is holding on by a thread. It's going to be difficult for them to win this from here. They have quite a push they get with only half the game remaining, but still plenty of time left in the game. They're just going to have to regroup, reorganize, and come together as a team within the back half of this game.
100% here, Nikki. And you know something I'm just noticing? It's 2.5 minutes in. And this is the first time I'm noticing Long Beach having a charger on their side right here. You know, I think this is Shu as well here. Shu was previously playing the dualies right here. So being able to flex immediately to another anchor option and give Long Beach a little bit of that momentum they need to just be able to stay a little bit longer in these fights and threaten space with a weapon as deadly as a charger is definitely going to work out for them in this favor here, as they're going to be attacking this first checkpoint here. It's slowly ticking down here. Funny Man is going to be doing some funny things on the tower once again to be able to clear through this checkpoint right here. They are close to Zuka as well here, but two members go down here, and it's going to be this Inkback and Zuka trying to salvage this push here and try and push it a little bit more forward, but it doesn't seem like Red Emberz has a proper response to this.
Yeah, Long Beach had the makings of a really good push on their hands there. Unfortunately, it seems to be losing steam a bit too early. None of their players were able to get up into that top right position. Because of that, I mean, we have the exact opposite of what Red Emberz had. Like, they took that top right position and got a fantastic push to show for it, taking the second checkpoint like it was nothing. But Long Beach was a bit more passive in their approach, staying close at the tower, leaving the top right position undefended or uncontested. Because of that, Red Emberz was able to easily clear them out, forcing them to either jump out or stay there and die. So I mean, like, Long Beach, they got a pretty good push on their hands, but it's just not quite good enough. They still have to get past that second checkpoint, and if only 45 seconds left in the game, they might not have enough time to do that unless they really turn up the heat here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Long Beach is pretty far down here. I believe it's just their Slosher with the tri-strikes here as an option to be able to shut them down, as three members did go down there. Really well picked from Red Emberz here. And it seems like Cliff is going to ride this tower to victory, but APOC has something to say along with that, being able to just swipe on that tower, getting away any nasty bow users that are trying to ride that tower all the way to the victory. He's right here. They are managed to get one with that Zipcaster. That was very, what was it, desperate play to be able to do something there, but hey, something needs to be done here, Nikki. It's 10 seconds on the clock here, and Long Beach does not have a proper setup here to address what Red Emberz has set up.
Yeah, things are really not looking good for Long Beach. They have control of the tower. They have one more shot winning this game. Red Emberz is 2 down, which means Long Beach is going to have some momentum here. Another 2 going down as well. That, I think, is an effective wipe.
Wait,
Red Emberz is kind of scrambling here. Like, a lot of them are going down.
The tower, Nikki, is still going forward. It is overtime, and Inkback is popped here. This is kind of a crazy situation to be in right now, you know? If you're Long Beach, you just need a couple more picks here, because keep in mind, I think both these teams are cooler lists right here, so hey, you just need to be able to move forward. But hey, the second I say that, commentator's curse goes in here. It's going to be Red Emberz clicking in the killer whale. They're all on that tower right there, forcing the members of Long Beach off here and giving them the game win here.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big flank from Corona there, getting behind them with the lasers. And speaking of which, I wanted to note, as you mentioned earlier, like, the team Red Emberz was running was quad wall, and from what I could tell from Corona at least, they changed their gear from their usual setup, which, I mean, I know from experience that Corona typically runs the more standard, like, Ninja Squid QR strategies with Inkbrush, maybe some swim speed here and there. This time around, they were running nothing but special charge, so they really wanted to spam the lasers as hard as they could that game. And for what it's worth, it seemed to be working pretty well for them. But regardless, Red Emberz is going to take the win. They took, 6 games overall in the set, only losing that one on Humpback. Yeah, and if you're Long Beach, you're probably pretty happy with that. I mean, like, unlike a lot of other, like Night Sharks in their previous set against ISU, the one right before this one, I mean, like, Night Sharks took 2 games off of them, but those 2 games were in the playoff 7, so they don't actually matter for any statistical purposes. But Long Beach getting that first victory over Red Emberz in a game that actually had stakes attached to it is still a massive boon for them, and something I think they could be very proud of.
Yeah, definitely. Both these teams should be really proud of their showings here. Red Emberz, once again, showing their dominance here. Getting another set win to bringing them up to a 4-0 seasonal record. Long Beach is going to go 2-2, right? But they are still in the running for this, you know. Taking a game off Red Emberz is pretty huge. It's going to help their win differential quite a bit. And they might be able to qualify for Div 1 playoffs through the wildcard system. They just have to win, I believe, against Reef Runner. No, sorry. They already played against Reef Runner. They have to win against Comet Blasters, I believe, to be able to punch their ticket to that wildcard system here. But Nikki, we are running low on time here, as the next set is going to be starting soon. Where can the fine people of Twitch.tv find you?
Sure, so I was casting the previous set, so forgive me if some of this sounds repetitive. But I don't do a lot of social media. It's not my kind of thing. But if you do like the sound of my dumb voice, which is very worn out by now, you could go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I upload a lot of collegiate Splatoon VODs. If you like the content you see on the CCA stream, you'll probably like some of the garbage I make. But otherwise, I don't have too much to plug. What about you, Neptune? Where can the lovelies find you?
You can find me here on the CCA production staff, losing my voice here consistently at the end. This is a very entertaining set to watch, as long as drawn out this was. This is a fantastic set to watch here. I couldn't be happier to commentate it out here. I'm quite close with the members of Long Beach here, and this was a fantastic showing for them. But hey, if you want to see me, you can find me at Neptune with a 2 instead of a TU at the end, in the Twitter tag there and an underscore at the end. You know what? You see it on the screen here. My voice is dying here. Stick around, folks. We're gonna have one more set in this big run here of an event here from ISU, who are going to be facing down the Reef Runners from Cal Poly Pananomia. So yeah, stick around, folks.